Let's talk about intervention right now. Intervention would be an interruption, stopping people who have started to use alcohol and drugs at some point before it progresses and things start getting any worse when they start using. There are different types of interventions. The one that most people hear about or are familiar with is the professional intervention that has a professional counselor coming in, and they plan talking to the person and telling stories. And it's proven to be questionable as far as how successful they are, especially with certain types of people. But there's a lot of different types of interventions that we want to just bring forth to you people, is that you never know what that intervention might be like. For example, in my particular case, the intervention came when I was in a library in Hanover, New Hampshire, and I read that if I was an alcoholic, I was a drug addict. And that intervened me. A light went on in my head, and I went back that same day, went in and talked to somebody, because I could say, wow, I never realized I was a drug addict. Another one could be, there was a young lady who comes home, she's home from school, and her father comes home, and she starts talking to him about something that went on in school, and then one of the other daughters was being very silent, and they brought out the fact that one of the kids were making fun of one of the daughters because their father was an alcoholic, and they were kidding. They were kidding her about that, and that was enough for him when he heard that his daughter was now being taunted in school and kidded. That was an awakening for him. Another was a letter that came from a son to his father that said, "Dad, you've always been my hero, but you're not anymore." He says, "Because every time I see you, you're drunk, and I want my old father back." Those are the things that people really make an impact. Another was a police officer who drove a DWI prospect home one night and dropped him off rather than arrested him, and then called him the next morning and said, "I'm coming to pick you up tonight, and I'm going to take you to an AA meeting." And the guy said, "I don't think so." And the cop says, "I think so. I'm coming to pick you up." And he did, took him to the meeting. And at that meeting, the guy who was going to be arrested for the DWI got involved and never had another drink. From that point on, he's now got 35 years sober. Those are all little interventions that you never know when you can talk to somebody about something. It can be a family member, it can be just a friend. And if some people say, "I wouldn't know how to do this, I wouldn't know how to do an intervention." And we have a FRAMES program that we will give you in depth, but briefly, the FRAMES stands for, you give the person feedback, you tell them they're responsible. You have some advice for them. You have a menu of options that they can exercise. You do it with empathy, and also you try to also encourage them with some self-efficacy. So that's FRAMES, and that works. It's a format that we have much more in depth about those intervention pieces, ways to do intervention in the website. So you want to go to the website and go to intervention, and we'll put you into a lot of links that are much more detailed.